pretty much everyone spends more money on their barber than the doctor gets paid for seeing you each year. Which is pretty impressive if you think about it. You know, it's not that I don't like haircuts. It's just that, you know, one is, does your hair look okay? And the other one is, are you actually being healthy and staying alive? The average doctor earns less than $100 per patient per year. And the only way to deal with this is they've been jammed to see more and more patients. Well, the only way they can see more and more patients is have fewer and fewer minutes. If they only have fewer and fewer minutes, something has to give. And what gives is any useful advice to you about what you should be doing, because there's just no time left. And that's pretty much what's happened in our system. One thing that when I put this slide up, which was about 2 years ago, I got all this angry mail from all these people saying that cannot be true. And this slide said that we pay less than 1% of our healthcare budget to primary care docs. And everyone said, there's no way. So I said, okay, we've got 130,000 doctors. Is that wrong? And each one of them nets. And this is after they've paid Medicare fees and they've paid the malpractice insurance fees. But this is gross to them. This is not, they have to pay taxes on this. So this is still income they pay taxes on. Gets 150K on average. And that's actually high, by the way. If you do the math, that's 19.5 billion. Where am I wrong? And it's 2 years, and no one has yet come back with a single explanation of where the numbers are wrong. In fact, there's been a fair number of, oh, maybe that's right. Well, that's a pretty stupid system. A system where the people who actually are on the front line taking care of people, getting less than 1% of a $2.4 trillion a year expense. That's $2,400 billion a year. You know, that's a system where 1% difference is 24 billion. You know, you talk about entrepreneurial opportunities. Think about that. I'm sure some of you here, how many here are involved in alternative energy in one way or another, or translational medicine in one way or another? Peanuts compared to what we're talking about. So the idea behind KIAS was this is a bad thing. You know, we can't afford to wait for the system. We can't afford for all these people to die, and yet it was avoidable. We could, by and large, get rid of 80% of the heart disease cases, 80% of the diabetes type 2 cases, which lead to an enormous expense. One of the great things about modern medicine is we can keep you alive longer, which is a good thing. But we keep you alive longer, often at an annual cost of $50,000 to $80,000 a year. So if you live 15 years and you're costing $50,000 a year, someone is busy paying the money, and if you can do the math. Your expected cost just blew through $1 million, and it turns out that's why we're spending so much money. I listed 3 main diseases, but pretty much everything I just listed here is lifestyle related. Almost all of these things not only cost a lot of money, there's another cost. It's not a trivial cost. It's called productivity. Let's say that the average worker in this country, and they don't, but let's say that they earn, just to keep life really simple, $50,000 a year. And they worked 200 days a year, right? If they miss 5 days, you know, you can do the math. The cost to the company is very significant of that lost labor. Most of them are missing 5 days due to one of these things. Many of them are missing 15 or 20 days, and some are missing 40 or 50 due to these issues. And mostly it's because they don't have the tools to stay healthy. So the vision, the dream, and this is what powers every startup when you do a startup, the dream was to turn this around. The dream was to basically take all this data that we're having about people and do essentially for healthcare what Mint.com did for finance. Now, I suspect most of you are actually still too young to have used Mint. How many people here have used Mint.com? One of you. Why are you using it?